I never thought I'd be packing at my office at Andover Tech on a gray Thursday morning in Seattle. I looked down at a cardboard box holding the last 4 years of my life. The fancy corner office I had worked so hard for, with missed holidays, long nights, and tough meetings, now felt empty, like it belonged to someone else. "You've got 30 minutes, Clara," said Benjamin Andover, standing in the doorway with his umbrella dripping on the floor. He sounded cold and a little pleased with himself as he fixed his expensive coat. "Danielle will be taking over as VP of Strategy right away."
Danielle.
My cousin. The same cousin who didn't finish college and jumped from one hobby to another until she suddenly decided she liked tech 2 months ago. She got the title and corner office because she was close to Ben's wife. I carefully placed my awards into the box: Team Leader of the Year, Best Performing Division, and the plaque from our $20 million Series B funding. All proof of my hard work, now treated like they didn't matter. "Oh, and your badge," Ben said, raising an eyebrow. "Security rules. We can't take risks." I handed it over with a small smile. What he didn't know, what no one at the company knew, was that I secretly owned the building through a company called Marlowe Ventures, named after my grandmother. I was actually their landlord. "Of course," I said calmly. "But someone should review the lease clause we talked about. Marlowe sent a notice yesterday." Ben waved it off. "Danielle can handle it. She's better with people than you ever were." If only he knew, that lease clause wasn't about rent. It allowed me to cancel their lease in 24 hours if they broke any fair employment rules, like firing someone unfairly because of favoritism. I put the last item in the box, a photo of me at 14, standing with my grandmother in front of this building before we fixed it up. I could still hear her say, "Real power isn't about job titles. It's about deeds, and who owns them." By 17, I had learned zoning laws. At 21, I started Marlowe Ventures with the money my grandmother left me. At 24, I owned the building where Andover Tech worked. I gave them a good deal on rent, not because I needed the money but because I knew a day like this would come. And now, they were standing on my property. "One more thing," Ben said as I lifted my box. "The severance package we talked about, the board decided to give it to Danielle as a signing bonus instead." He tilted his head with fake sympathy. "I'm sure you understand. Family first. Family first." I'd heard that all my life. When Danielle had credit card debt, my parents took money from my college fund to help her. When she crashed her Audi, they told me to be glad I had a bus pass. And when she wanted my job, our parents told me not to be selfish. "Of course," I said, walking past him. "Family first." The elevator ride down was quiet, but my mind was busy. My lawyer Naomi would already have my go-ahead. The paperwork was ready. By tomorrow morning, Andover Tech would receive an eviction notice because they broke the lease by firing me unfairly, using favoritism, and creating a toxic workplace. I had all the proof, every conversation, every meeting, every secret. In the lobby, Danielle stood with Elaine Andover, looking perfect in her pink blazer. Danielle smiled like she'd already won. "Glad you're leaving," Elaine said with a sneer. "Danielle wants to change everything. Your style was too cold." Danielle shrugged. "I'll handle it, Clara. Don't worry." She reached for my arm, but I stepped back. "Just like you handled the story your way, right?" Elaine rolled her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic. It's just business." Just like it wasn't personal when Danielle said I was unstable. Just business when she spread lies about me flirting with clients. "It is just business," I said quietly. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the air still felt heavy. I put my box in the back seat of my silver car. Not fancy, but mine. My reflection in the window didn't look defeated. It looked like someone ready to win. My phone buzzed. Naomi, my lawyer, messaged. "All documents signed. Notice will be delivered at 9 a.m. I texted back. "Proceed." Driving home through quiet streets, I thought about what tomorrow would bring. Ben's face when he found out Andover Tech had only 24 hours to leave. Elaine's shock when she learned the landlord they ignored was me. And Danielle. Her new office would be locked before she could even hang a diploma. Most of all, I heard my grandmother's words. True power isn't from the tallest building. It's from owning the ground beneath it. When I got home, my small house showed nothing of the valuable building I owned. Just a quiet garden and a mailbox with my name. Another message from Danielle. No hard feelings, right? It's just business. Family brunch Sunday. I didn't reply. There'd be time for brunch later. For now, I had work to do. Inside, I sat at my real control center, my home office. This was better than the fancy office I lost. Here were the building deed, company papers, and files of every shady meeting and unfair firing. I opened my laptop. First, an email to all employees at Andover Tech, scheduled for 8:55 a.m. Due to unforeseen circumstances, all staff will work from home until further notice. Building access suspended from 9 a.m. Next, the press release. Marlowe Ventures ends lease with Andover Tech immediately due to ethical and contract violations. Then, instructions to building security. Change all access codes. Lockdown at 9 o'clock. I was ready. My phone buzzed again. This time from my mother. Danielle explained everything. We're disappointed in how you handled this. I stared at the message without reacting. Then I turned back to my screen. I wasn't finished. Why can't you just support your cousin? I placed the phone face down. Tomorrow, they'd all understand. Success built on lies and betrayal isn't real success. It's just decay beneath a shiny surface. Outside, the Seattle rain started again, tapping my window as I finished the last steps. In less than 24 hours, Andover Tech would learn what happens when you underestimate the quiet one, the one who watched and waited. They thought they were firing an employee. They didn't know they were waking a landlord who spent 5 years preparing for this moment. And Danielle? She'd learned some battles are lost before they even start. I closed my laptop and looked out the window as rain poured. Tomorrow's forecast, stormy, with a 100% chance of consequences. At 8:30 a.m., I parked across from the building with coffee, watching. Employees came in, chatting and laughing, unaware their office would soon be locked. At 8:45, Ben's black Audi arrived, followed by Danielle's shiny rose gold Tesla. Of course, a perfect entrance for her big day. At 9 a.m. sharp, my phone buzzed with alerts. Access codes changed. Doors locked. Naomi on video. The eviction notice handed to a confused receptionist. From my car, I saw employees confused by the locked doors, security turning them away, groups gathering, phones out. Then Ben stormed out, holding the eviction notice, face dark with shock. He shouted orders that no longer mattered. My phone rang. Ben Andover. Went to voicemail. Then Danielle. I watched her pacing, lips tight, heels slipping on wet pavement. Declined. Again. Elaine Andover declined too. Then a text from Danielle. What did you do? I stepped out of my car, fixed my jacket, and walked across the street. Everyone looked. Whispers spread. This isn't fair. You can't just kick us out. We have rights. Ben shouted. Actually, I said, pulling a thick folder from my bag. I can. I opened it to a highlighted part. Clause 9, Section B of your lease says that if you break ethical rules, like firing people unfairly, playing favorites, or spreading lies, we can end your lease immediately. Want to see the proof from my firing yesterday? Danielle stepped forward, looking pale. This is revenge. You're just angry. I took your job. I laughed dryly. Danielle, you didn't take my job. You and Elaine made up rumors about me. You convinced my parents to force me out. And you kept my severance money. I pointed to the building behind them. And now you've lost everything. No office, no title, no company address. Elaine pushed through the crowd, trying to stay calm but failing. Ben, say something. She can't do this. But Ben was already on the phone, his face growing darker. They were checking the legal papers. The eviction was real, and I had all the rights. 24 hours, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. That's how long Andover Tech has to leave. Anything left behind will be thrown out. Ben's voice broke. You want us to move a whole company in 24 hours? We have contracts, clients. The same time you gave me to clear my office, I said. Nothing personal. Just business. Danielle grabbed my arm, eyes wide and wet. You can't do this. I'm your family. I gently pulled my arm away. Exactly. You always said family first. So, I'm protecting my real family, Marlowe Ventures. People pulled out their phones and started recording. I didn't care. I had waited 5 years for this moment. Oh, one more thing, I said, pulling another paper from my folder. This is a legal notice against Andover Tech for lies, discrimination, and unfair firing. Ben lunged at me angrily, but Elaine held him back. You'll regret this, he growled. I'll sue you. I smiled. I'll see you in court. I thought of all the proof I had collected over 5 years. Every rude comment, every secret deal, every complaint ignored. All documented. Every email, every recording, every shady payment. I'm looking forward to discovery, I said calmly. Ben's face twitched. He knew what I meant. The secret payments. The HR complaints they ignored. The pattern of unfair treatment. All ready to come out. I checked my watch. You've got 23 hours and 45 minutes left. Better start packing. I turned to leave. Behind me, Danielle called out, shaking. What about Sunday brunch? Mom and Dad made reservations. I paused, then turned a little. Tell them I won't come. A beat. I'll be busy renting the building to a new tenant, one who knows loyalty isn't a weakness. The next few hours were pure chaos. Box trucks lined the street. Employees rushed out with monitors and chairs. Executives barked into phones, their urgency rising every minute. I watched it all unfold from across the street, in Naomi's office, where, ironically, we were already fielding offers from new tenants. By midnight, Andover Tech was mostly cleared out. I returned to what used to be my office. Danielle hadn't even taken down the framed vision board I made or the founder's quote of the month I'd posted just days before. I stood by the window, watching Seattle's skyline flicker against the night. Then the messages started flooding in. Mom, how could you betray your cousin like this? Dad, we didn't raise you to be vindictive. Danielle, you've destroyed everything. But one message made me pause. It was from my grandmother, sent from my late grandfather's old number. He would be so proud. You're the only one who understood what real power looks like. The next morning, the headlines exploded. Rolled-up newspaper, Andover Tech evicted in corporate scandal. Rolled-up newspaper, family feud erupts into business blow-up. But my favorite? Rolled-up newspaper, Marlowe Ventures steps into the spotlight, the quiet force behind Seattle's property boom. The article praised our strategic acquisitions and vision, naming the Andover building as just one piece of a much larger puzzle. A week later, I received a dinner invitation, not from my parents, but from my grandmother. When I arrived, she was already seated in her favorite chair. There was a spark in her eyes that said more than words ever could. Your grandfather kept a journal, she said, handing me a weathered leather notebook. He wrote about you often. Said you were the only one who understood his lessons about patience and where real power lies. I opened it. I recognized his looping handwriting instantly. My granddaughter asked me why I invest in old buildings instead of new ones. I told her what my father told me. Real value isn't in what stands above the ground, but in owning the ground itself. She understood. Look how far she's going. I blinked, holding back tears. Danielle called. My grandmother added, pouring tea. She's moving. Says she can't find work here anymore. I nodded, thinking of the email I'd received that morning. A proposal from a leading tech firm to lease the building. Their plan? A startup incubator on the lower floors, affordable space and mentorship for first-time founders. She always said, my grandmother mused, revenge is a poor man's game. Real success isn't about payback. It's about getting ahead and bringing others with you. I smiled. It was never about revenge, I said quietly. It was about justice. And now, it's about building something better. That night, driving home, I passed the building that once carried the Andover Tech name. The sign was gone now. Just clean glass, waiting for the future. My phone buzzed. A message from Danielle, her first that wasn't defensive or bitter. I get it now. What you built. What it took. I'm sorry I tried to take it from you. I never saw how hard you worked. I didn't reply right away.
Some truths take time.
Some apologies need more than words. But as I stepped out beneath the cloudy Seattle sky, I thought of my grandfather's words again. True power isn't about having the biggest office. It's about owning the ground beneath their feet. And finally, they all understood. If you've made it this far, thank you. This isn't just a story about contracts and buildings. It's a story about worth and how sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who overlook it the most. I never set out to destroy anyone. I just stopped letting them destroy me. If you've ever been dismissed, underestimated, or made to feel like loyalty was a weakness, I hope my story reminded you. Quiet strength is still strength. You don't have to shout to be powerful. You don't need revenge to win. You just need to know your worth and keep building, even when no one's watching. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to walk away from something or someone to protect your peace? Have you ever been pushed aside, only to come back stronger? Share your story in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is speak the truth and remind others they're not alone. If this story moved you, consider subscribing. There's more coming.